What is going on? Happy Tuesday, February 20th. We are hanging out and we are going to have a little stream. That's what we're about to do. So, hope you guys are having a good day. It has this. I would normally have had a morning stream today. I'll be streaming today, tomorrow, and the next day. But we are not trading right now. So, yeah. There's a little broker switch going on with the prop firm that I've been using, and to be honest, at the same time, there's also no setups. So I had nothing for you, nothing to do this morning, and so I wasn't going to waste time, waste all of our time. So that's the deal. But now we're going to hang out, check out the charts, see what's going on, and then kind of go from there. So, we will see. Right now, I have no open positions though. Shorting shop right now. No, I got nothing. I got nothing right now. I do think the short side could be setting up. Yeah, I mean, who knows on that? Earnings gap down. I do like the potential, but needs to get under like 77. I would say for a better move on that, which we may get. I do like the short side of Apple under 180, which it again, what did it do today? Apple hit 180 and bounced. Problem is on Apple right now is that you've got super low volume, so I will not trade that. So their ideas that I have would be maybe an Apple short. Not maybe, that would be an idea. Although I zoom out and I'm like, do I really want to play that? But it does kind of meet the criteria here. Key level, I do like it. Just know that it could be a screw job. It could just undercut and snap back, depending on how the market reacts this week. So then you look to the market to get some guidelines or to get some assistance as to direction. And you do, technically speaking, you do have a lower high. I would be much, much, much happier playing the short side if we continued to put pressure on last week's lows. That would be very good because you do have a lower high, so far. But it could be a higher low setting up. I mean, we just too early to tell, so don't really know right there. So you're kind of in the middle of, you're kind of in no man's land, right? Obviously, you've got much, much, much stronger uptrend on SPY, on the S&P, I should say, the past couple of weeks and months. So there's that. But then you look in the near term and you say, well, we have this low from last Tuesday. We got this, I guess, this lower high downtrend. Yes, it looks good for shorts, but really for for the real move, I mean, I would be looking for underneath here, and then we can start saying, okay, now we've got lower highs, we've got lower lows. Cool. Now, the ideas are shifting short. So that's just kind of what I'm waiting for, which we didn't get and we haven't gotten. So there's just nothing to do. Like for me, there's just nothing to do. What's going on, Flippa? Took a little long on the Russell dip buy off support. Nice. Let's see. How's the IWM doing? The thing about not this. I haven't traded IWM, and the broker does not allow it, or doesn't have it as an option. They are in the middle of switching accounts over to like different brokers, so it's kind of a mess. And so it's kind of worked out that it happened right now around the holiday weekend, I guess, a long weekend this way, because there weren't really good setups, to be honest, for me anyway. So it's kind of been good. The only thoughts I maybe would have been false breakdowns today. Were there any false breakdowns? Nothing massive that I saw. I guess I haven't looked everywhere, but nothing that crazy that I saw. So, I'm just kind of, letting it do its thing. I guess Google's up today. It's only one on my list that's up. Microsoft is not down that much. It didn't look great, and then it's come back. Meta, still kind of in screw job. There were positions. I'll mention it now, and I'll probably mention it in the month recap, the February recap, which I'll film. Well, I'll film it next Friday. I'll be home next Friday to film it, so it'll come out like next Saturday, probably like March 1st. I'll come out with a February recap, but I don't know how much more there will be to do. I mean, we'll see. Maybe it'll be like an Apple trade here if we confirm downside. But I don't know if I'm maybe trading much because I'm traveling on Friday and I'll be away for like a week. So there will be definitely no day trades. If swing trade setups are there, then they'll be there. So we'll see. But yeah, so Meta does look good. I still would take Meta long here. I did get in Meta long, and then they switched brokers. So essentially flattened the positions, and it would have... I believe it would have stopped me out, but also like it technically is okay. It's still okay. Like I wouldn't be opposed to still being in it long because it's still just in this consolidation. However, the timing was just off, right? So it just didn't go the day that I wanted it to go, or that I got in. It just didn't get follow through. Volume looked okay, and then, you know, Friday came along and we just kind of like sputtered. So it's kind of whatever. Meta would be the short idea, but again, bouncing very strong off that 180 area. So that's like the big line in the sand. We're all waiting on NVIDIA earnings. I guess I can pull that up. We're waiting on NVIDIA earnings. That's tomorrow. I mean, that's just kind of what everyone seems to be waiting for. I don't know how big of a deal it is for the overall market, to be honest with you. It shouldn't be that massive of a deal for the overall market, but, you know, you're going to get reactions. You're going to get sympathy plays. You're going to get all that jazz. That's just part of the game, you know, with this stuff. So AMD, remember how AMD we were looking at, I think on Thursday or something, and we're like, hey, this thing could be good if it gets up here. And it did, but guess what? It couldn't break 180 and it got stuffed. So you had the little false breakout of the downtrend there and it got nailed. And especially if NVIDIA earnings are not good, this is probably coming in towards 150 and even maybe lower than that. As crazy as that might sound, there's room in here, I think, especially volume profile wise, down towards 149 and then down towards 139. That was the two targets I would have in mind on AMD. So we'll see if we get those. If obviously if NVIDIA doesn't go according to, well, it doesn't go bullish, I guess I should say, because who knows what the plan is there. Tesla got up into the gap a little bit, then pulled back a little bit, kind of filled most of it or half of it or whatever. So I can't, you know, just that's the deal. You do have, you know, like we were saying last week, the inverse head and shoulders setting up. So what I would want to see Tesla do here is I wouldn't want to see Tesla under 182. If Tesla holds above 182, your inverse head and shoulders kind of pattern, or, you know, is there, which is a good bottoming reversal pattern. And, you know, we'll see if it ends up panning out. So that's the deal on that. Amazon's down. I haven't checked. Yeah, it's filling. Maybe it starts to fill some of this gap in a little bit on that bad boy. But other than that, Bitcoin was up today, popped up to 53K, and then it pulled back a little bit, and it's kind of sitting flat on the day. Nothing crazy there. I did start to sell. I have given up on, and in a good way, I've given up on the covered call front for my BITO position. Could still milk out some good gains on it. The problem, I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start locking it in piece at a time. So I've took off half of it. And I will ride the next half. Hopefully, if Bitcoin goes higher, great. You know, great. But I've just started locking in gains from an average around 1470 something, I think. So we're up like $10+ a share. I sold at 25 today, a little over 25, and then a little over 25. So yeah, so we're just chilling on that. Crude needs to get over $80 again for us to be looking good, but it is not. I have my doubts about that, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to do it, but I'm not betting on it because just don't like the chart at all. But, you know, that said, it's our line in the sand. And then I think we got pretty clear, you know, trend to the upside. If we start to unravel this, yes, we probably head down. So that's the deal on the crude situation. The NASDAQ is certainly weaker. You had a breakdown here. So you clearly, well, not clearly. You know what we're looking at on the S&P? We're like, you know, okay, so we got the lower highs. Great, cool. We want the lower low. We got that on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is there. So if you're going to short, you would want to short tech. You know, is this where the weakness is? So that's my view. If you're going to short, you'd want to short tech, which makes the Apple idea more appealing. So we'll see if we get it. A lot of mixed signals on oil. Yeah, it's not and right now it's not. And there will be times where maybe it's an easier one to trade, but it's just right now it just doesn't seem like a very easy one to trade. And it's been really just choppy. It's been in consolidation a lot. It's been just chopping up and down a lot. When you broaden the scope out, it's been consolidating. You know, yes, you zoom in, there's more movement, but it's still just kind of in a range for like over a year. It seems like it's just not really doing much. So yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of boring. Tomorrow we'll see if we get any better action. If everything goes well, tomorrow might do a live trading. Just the live stream will be either in the morning or in the afternoon. The first hour of the day or the last hour of the day. I usually do Wednesdays in the last hour. Usually do Tuesday, Thursdays the first hour, but might change tomorrow because it depends how I feel. Let's go through some other stuff. Let me go through my main list here. How's the 10-year doing today? 10-year is down 0.42, but I see a little bit of a bull flag setting up. So strong still. The dollar down a little bit more, but not really. It's a little bit south of flat. Jumping down to gold and silver. Gold's up a little bit, but silver's pretty much flat. Risk on is not doing well. SoFi is doing okay. Oh, that one's green. BYND is green, but everything else on my risk on list is not good. SoFi, to be honest, is kind of looking the same way. Like it's building a little base here and trying to get going. So maybe this is big picture trying to reverse. How's ARK doing? ARK's down 3.5. Well, I guess Tesla's down a good bit. Risk on in general is not doing great today. Yeah. If that holds up, IWM is weak. So if that holds up, then this week, then you've got a good play there, but on shop. But we'll see. I'm going to clean up some of these charts a little bit. Coin popped almost $200 on Friday. Walmart crushing it off the earnings. Crusher, look at that little bull flag break there. But I mean, obviously you couldn't really play it because you got the earnings. Target probably doing decent because of Walmart. Yeah, kind of. Netflix broke out, pulled back. Same thing with the Netflix trade. I had the Netflix trade. I was up. It was like literally $3 or less than $3 shy of my first take profit. And that came on Friday, and then the position was closed out as the broker switch occurred. So what was going on? So we don't get to realize any gains, and I don't believe we're realizing losses there. So essentially, it's as if I didn't take the trade, which whatever. It is what it is. Meta still, I think Meta could be good. Home Depot looks really strong. Just had earnings? Yeah, they just did. So that's a good news. That's out the way. Problem is that I don't really see a setup for me. You could say, you could make the argument. Just get in and be like, yeah, this looks great, right? Because it's kind of trying to get towards the north side of the consolidation. If you want to draw a rough consolidation in there, you can make that argument. I can see it. Could be a tradable play, but then you're kind of blurring. If I did that, I'd be blurring the lines of what my strategy is, you know what I mean? So it's not really worth it to me. That's Adobe looking. Yo, that looks nasty. Adobe got crushed last week. I guess with the whole SMCI crash, that thing got killed. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but Adobe adds AI chatbot to Acrobat for document search. I guess that's Adobe's kind of in that AI space, and so that got nailed on Friday, which I think we saw some of that get hit. How's SMCI doing? That thing got destroyed right on Friday. It did come into sub $700 today. Jeez, but it's come back pretty nicely. This is going to be a stock that I mean, you're going to get some wild moves on this thing. Just, I mean, by itself, right? Everything was almost $1,100, and then it's sub 700 literally like 2 trading days later. XLRE. This almost looks like it wants to be a setup for a bull flag setup here. It kind of does. It's a steep little pull, but it's roughly drawing the lines in. You can make the argument that you have a break to the north on high volume on this, and so maybe real estate is about to do well. The only thing about that would be you're going to need the 10-year to come down. This is probably going to eat this can roll over with the market. The market rolls over, but the 10-year goes. If the 10-year rolls over, market can do whatever it wants to do. This may end up holding up stronger if that occurs. So that's what you'd be watching for. Could be something to that move because it kind of does have that bull flag look. Obviously, a pullback since end of last year, But bigger picture from October, right? Really nice strong trend up. Consumer staples looks green today. XLI, KRE, XLF, strong. Energy, nah. XBI, man, XBI does look interesting though. If they can get above these like 94 area now, because it's up on the top of the range. It's gonna move this line right to here. Yeah, there she is. I like that look, to be honest, too. I do, because what do you have? You have this big push followed by the consol. Now, can it go? That's the question. Can it go? Jets. Semis. SMH tapped $200. Crazy. I guess it's not that crazy with some of the moves that we saw in those stocks, but it is kind of crazy thing about it. VIX spiky a little bit, uptrending as well. So there's that. The market's pulling in here nicely. Past few minutes, nice little pull. That's a decent candle there. Is there news on that? What about this week? What do we got economic news wise? We have not much. We had leading economic indicators this morning. Tomorrow, a couple Fed guys are speaking. The minutes. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe that's good. At least, to be honest, dude, I just don't really see a point in trying to guess the direction prior to the minutes coming from the last Fed meeting and NVIDIA earnings in the after hours. So come, Thursday, okay, and then you got some news there too. Come Thursday, I think you've got a better base to go off of in terms of, where we look at directionally. But until then, I don't know how much, I really care to try to guess, because I don't want to guess. I really don't. So I don't really see, like, Apple short could be there, maybe. The thing that I will say that the Dow is holding up pretty well. Obviously now it's pulling back, but the Dow held up, or is still generally holding up well compared to the S&P and the NASDAQ. I look at where the Dow is really just kind of in a consolidation, right, compared to how the S&P and Qs are. SPY's chart a little bit weaker. Q's chart a lot weaker. IWM, I don't know what the fuck that is, dude, to be honest with you. It's like gap up, gap down, gap up, gap down, gap up, gap down. Oh my God. So I would leave that one alone too. But yeah, it looks like to me, I would probably just leave things alone until post tomorrow. I mean, once you get on Thursday, then it's like, okay, the Fed minutes, not that this is like a massive deal. We kind of know what the Fed said already, like, and stuff. So it's not like, okay, huge, but more details get released. You get a little more insight. Market will react to that. It will react to that. Now, how big? I don't know. And then shortly after that, about 2 hours after that, you have NVIDIA earnings, which is big in terms of like a sentiment perspective in the market and all that stuff. So let's pull up fear and greed. Fear and greed, you're looking at 68. You're looking at greed right now. Breath is trying to curl. Market's pulling back a little bit though, but nothing crazy there. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel. Like, it's like I don't want to waste everyone's just don't want to waste time. It's like, it's almost like here we are, right? So that's why I didn't bother with this morning's stream, because it was like, just I'm not going to trade anything, so why am I going to try to bullshit around for a bit? But yeah, I was looking at, you know what, I was going to maybe see if I can add to the lists. Platinum, I was looking at recently. Maybe add that to the gold, silver, platinum, oil. Look at those kind of the four right there. And I guess throw Bitcoin in there as the five pieces to the puzzle that maybe I would potentially trade my strategy. I just had to look back through time and see it, Simple as that. All I really need to see though, for me, is I go back over the course of the past couple of months. I go to the 1 hour chart. I go to the daily chart first. I go to the weekly chart, maybe even second, and then I jump down to the hourly charts. And if I see setups that would have worked with my strategy, then then I'll add it to my list and I would trade it, especially if I'm able to with my broker. Check out FinViz right now. So today is a majority declining day. 62% of stocks declining. Not surprised. That's actually kind of interesting because you have 34% upside despite the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P, and Russell all red. There's actually decent green. Even like look at this the heat map. It's actually not as red as you would think. So that's kind of cool. More stocks hitting new highs than new lows. That's good. 58% above the 50 SMA. Not surprising there. But that number was higher like a little bit ago. 65-ish% above the 200 moving average, which is also not surprising after the recent rally we had, right? But those numbers I think are coming back. At least the 50 SMA is coming back a little bit. Tech's lead stock slide with earnings in focus. The leading indicators. This is cool. I never really looked into some of these things. So leading indicators, actual negative 0.4%. Expected negative 0.3. I think that would be, well, what is that? That's a good thing, right? I guess for like inflation, whatever. Or is that that's a bad thing for the economy, right? Is what that is telling us. Trueflation, I haven't looked at this in a while. And I was just looking at this recently. And the thoughts that I was having, I looked at this a long time ago. And I would always say, like, yeah, when Trueflation goes under 2, that's when we can start getting worried. And I was curious to see how that would react with the 10-year and all that stuff. But Trueflation, I guess they made some adjustments, at the beginning of the month. But Trueflation has come down under 2, meaning that what they're suspecting is that, or they're saying that current inflation right now in the economy, we're running at around 1.64. That's like real time. Like today's rate, like a real-time rate. And this is the progression of where it was. If you go back about a year ago, we were up over 6%, and it's come down substantially. Kind of came down towards 2 in the summer of last year, early summer of last year. Then it kind of pushed back up into that, late summer, early spring. And then it's come down since then. So if we kind of follow a similar path of the pressure to the downside in terms of like somewhat of a seasonality chart, then we could be setting up for a really big push down in inflation, which if this number continues to go down, right, obviously like the US reported number is going to, well, not obviously, you would suspect that would come down. But to me, this is more scary though, because the lower this number goes, like the more concerning that probably actually is. And then you have the risk of, deflation and all those other things we were talking about like a long time ago. Not that like, are planning for that or anything, but that's something I'd be really interested to see. And I was curious how the 10-year would react. The 10-year is not really reacting with that very, very much, which, if the 10-year was reacting with that, you would suspect the 10-year would be coming down more. It's not, which kind of throws I want to say a wrench. It's interesting kind of way things are playing out. The biggest problem, I think, if you look at food and beverages, numbers are negative there across the board. Housing, okay, cool. I guess last quarter it's come up a bit. Transportation, it's coming down, generally speaking. Numbers are down. Where are the numbers up? Healthcare, we have a positive number there. Clothing, that's negative. Communications, last month positive. Education, coming down. Rec, coming down. Others, a lot of shit's coming down. A lot of stuff's coming down. It's coming down pretty hard too. Yeah, but if you look at the relative importance here, right? So if I jump into food and bev, 15% importance. Housing, 23. Like that's huge. Transportation is 20. It's not bad. But as you scroll down here, right, the top 3 are the most important by far and away. Food and beverage, which look at that trajectory and look at that the way that's come down. It's just straight up trending down. Now, last summer it popped up for a bit, but it's, obviously now it's pushing lower. And that number's coming down. You have housing that's been slowly trying to trend down. It's actually perked back up, I guess, beginning of the year, but now it's trying to get back down. And transportation, more so flat, but pretty wonky. It's because of gas and other fuels. That's this purple line down here that's like really weird. That throws a big wrench. We're kind of chilling right now as of late because oil hasn't really done anything. Oil comes down again and we'll get a better sense of that, but it hasn't really done much. So, not really getting humongous moves there on that. But I thought it was cool to look at. But that number is coming in. It's coming in pretty low. So now this number, I believe, was higher than what the Fed ever reported. Now it's currently lower than what the Fed's reported, but it's off by a good margin. And from what I have seen and looking at it and looking historically speaking at it, this tends to precede what we get from the government by a couple of months, maybe not necessarily to the exact number, but the general gist. So if we're way underneath the US reported rate, then this is showing us like way below, like there's a good chance the coming months might see some pretty big declines in the CPI. So we'll see. That would be a good thing, I guess. And, people will like that, but we'll see if it actually pans out that way. So with that said, I know it's kind of boring. I know there's not much to talk about and there's not much to do, but I'm thinking I'm going to wrap things up a few minutes early because, why not? There should be a stream tomorrow. It may be in the morning. It may be in the afternoon if you want to hang out for it. If I am trading in the morning, then I will be there. But there's a good chance I won't, especially if the broker switch is still going on with my platform and everything. And then plus Fed minutes tomorrow afternoon. I think it's probably best if I do stream the morning tomorrow. We'll also have a stream. We'll have a second stream. If I do stream the morning, we'll have a second stream in the afternoon as well, because we'll catch the reaction to the minutes, and then which will be coming on after that. But then we'll also catch NVIDIA's earnings and how the market reacts, all that, which that's the deal. So hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.